guys, welcome back to our Bible science experiments. Today's experiment is going to be really fun, but before we get into that, I need to tell you a joke. So here it is. How does the ocean say hello? It waves. Get it? Waves. Anyway, a little humor. So today's experiment, we're going to use two really ordinary things that I have in my kitchen. We have baking soda and vinegar. These are really safe things. I cook with them. They stay in my kitchen. They're really safe. But when we put them together, something a little crazy happens. So let's go outside and we will do that. Our vinegar at the bottom. We've got our baking soda right here in this tissue. So I'm going to drop it in, seal the bag shut, and then we'll see what happens. Here we go. Yeah! It got me. Bubbles.
I brought a big one.
All right, have the big one. Well, guys, what did you think of that experiment? I love mixing two things together and seeing what will happen. Now, a little bit of science behind that one, when you have baking soda and vinegar by themselves, they're very safe, nothing happens. But when you mix them together, they start reacting. And when they start mixing together, making this reaction, part of that is they create that foam, but then it also creates this gas. And then when it's in that tight bag, the gas just keeps expanding and expanding, and it's got to go somewhere when that's why the bag exploded. So this is a really fun one, safe one to do at home. Maybe you've done this before and you made like a volcano and it kind of foams up. But anyway, I want us to think about that bag and that explosion. I don't know if you were expecting that or not. But guys, sometimes life is kind of like that bag. it starts out okay, and then something happens, and all of a sudden, it just gets so crazy. Maybe right now is kind of like that time for you. Maybe not, but life will always get a little crazy. And that reminds me of a Bible story. I thought of a time, it's one of my favorites, guys, when Jesus is with his disciples and life gets super crazy and scary. Now, we can read about this in two Gospels, in the book of Matthew in chapter 8 and also in Luke chapter 8. But I'm going to read that to you today from Luke chapter 8, and here's the story. One day, he got into a boat with his disciples, that's Jesus, and he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side of the lake." So they set out, and as they sailed, he fell asleep. So Jesus and his disciples, they're getting in the boat, they're about to cross the other side, and they're going. And these disciples, they're fishermen, so they know what to do in a boat. So they just start sailing off, and there they go. So then, as they were sailing, he fell asleep. So Jesus goes down, he fell asleep, he takes a nap. I get that. I love me to take some naps. So he's asleep, and a windstorm came down on the lake, and they were filling with water and were in danger. So they're going on this boat, and all of a sudden, waves start going. The boat starts getting crazy. Their boat is filling up with water, and they are terrified. They're afraid. They think they're about to die. So then maybe they've got their buckets and they're bailing water out, and it's going. The waves are coming, water's filling up, and they're freaking out. And they went and they woke him. So they went down there, Jesus, he's asleep. And they woke him up. They say, Master, we are perishing. So they're like, Jesus, we're about to die. Why are you sleeping? Wake up. And he awoke and he rebuked the wind and the raging waves, and they ceased, and there was calm. So they're freaking out. The disciples are going, the waves are crashing. They say, Jesus, wake up, we're about to die. Jesus comes up out of the boat, and he rebukes the waves. He tells them to stop. And it's still. And the waves and the wind, they obey him. Why do they do that? Because Jesus is the creator. He's God. He has power over all things. He can control even this wind and the waves. Well, then after this, he said to them, "Where is your faith?" And they were afraid, and they marveled, saying to one another, "Who then is this, that he commands even winds and water, and they obey him?" So after that, they were like, whoa, wow, look what Jesus did, this miracle. He calmed the winds and the waves. Jesus is all powerful, guys. He is God. He can control everything. He is in control of everything, and he knows all things that are happening. So guys, when we think about this story, when life starts getting a little crazy, we feel like we're going to explode like that bag, we need to remember that Jesus promises to always be with us, and he is powerful. He can control all things. Now, that doesn't mean that something really bad is happening and we can pray and say, "Oh God, please take this away," and he's going to take it away. It doesn't mean everything's going to get better. But what it does mean is that Jesus promises to always be with us, just like he was with those disciples in the boat. They were scared and they were afraid. They didn't have to be, because Jesus was with them. So I want you to think about, remember this week, when life just gets crazy. Maybe something really sad happens. Maybe you get scared. Maybe someone gets sick. Guys, in all those scary things, Jesus promises to be with us. And we can trust him in that, and that he will be with us, and we don't have to be afraid. Before we go, I got one more joke for you. Why don't you give Elsa a balloon? Because she's going to let it go. All right, guys, remember, God loves you and Miss Pam loves you too. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.